Hey kiddos, we are at the time of year where normally I'd bring up someone from Long and McQuaid in Winnipeg so that you all could try out all of the different band instruments and start making decisions about what you think you would like to play next year. Obviously, we can't do that right now, so I'm going to try to bring you the next best thing. I'm going to do a short little video series over the next week of the different band instruments, some pros and cons for each of them to help you decide what instrument might be the best fit for you. Today we're going to start off with the flute and then follow it up with the clarinet. So let's get started with the flute. The flute is a woodwind instrument. That means that once upon a time, these instruments were made out of totally wood. Now flutes today are made out of metal, but they're quite small and quite light. The flute sits in the very front of the band and usually plays the melody. That's the main tune of a song. Here's a great pro for playing the flute. Its case is just itty bitty. So if you're a bus student or you have to walk to school and it's a long walk, this case is great because it's light. It could even fit in your backpack if you don't have a cajillion textbooks in there. So that's a great perk of playing the flute. Now, to play the flute, the sound on the flute is made by playing right here. You line this little hole up with your mouth and you blow straight across. So what I do is I line up that hole right with the center of my lip, and then I kind of pull my mouth into a weird little smile here. And I blow my air straight across the hole. And that's how you make the sound on the flute. Now obviously, most of you don't have a flute at home. So if you want to check to see if you're going to be able to make a sound on the flute, all you need is a plastic bottle like this. Water bottle, pop bottle, mine's fizzy water. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure that your bottle isn't all the way full or it won't make a sound. Mine's pretty full. Maybe I'll have another sip before we get going because I'm parched. It's tangerine and lime flavored, and I just brushed my teeth, so whew, good morning. Okay, if you want to try this at home, same thing. Just line up the opening of the pop bottle under your bottom lip. And if you can make that pop bottle sing, you can play the flute, no problem. So there's some kind of pros and cons built into there is that it is tricky to get a sound going at first, but once you got it, no sweat. The other kind of, not really con, but something to consider when you play the flute is that unlike other instruments, most other wind instruments, you blow directly into the instrument. This one you blow across. So a lot of the air that you're using to make sound just kind of shoots out into the room and is wasted. So it's hard to hold a note for a long time. You're going to have to breathe a lot. So to play the flute, you got to have some pretty powerful lungs. Now that doesn't mean that if you have asthma, you can't play, but it would be something that you have to work on. Another nice little pro for the flute is that if you have little hands, you'll notice that there's actually buttons. And underneath the buttons, that's where the holes are. But these buttons cover the holes for you. So it's not like when you played recorder and you had to make sure you covered all those little holes perfectly. On the flute, as long as you hit the button, the note is covered. So great for little hands, not great for little lungs. Stuff to think about. That is the flute. Try it out on pop bottles at home. Let me know how it goes. I'll be back in 1 second and we'll check out the clarinet. Alrighty, so a clarinet case is about this big. Usually they're black, but this is a special case. It's about the size of a lunch kit. So again, if you're a bus kid or you have to walk a long way to school, this is a great instrument because it's not heavy and it's not too big. Once the clarinet is put together, it's actually quite a bit bigger. Look, it doesn't even fit on the computer screen, but we are missing something. Clarinets are special because it is also a woodwind instrument. So even though this clarinet is made out of plastic, originally they were made out of wood, and it has a little wooden reed that covers this opening right here. When you blow against the reed vibrates and it makes a sound. Just like if you've ever stuck a blade of grass in between your thumbs and blown to make a sound. Now the reeds have to be wet in order to play because when they're wet, they're flexible and they can vibrate properly to make the sound. So this is kind of a con of the instrument, is that you have to purchase these separately. They wear out over time, maybe every month or so, but they wear out even faster if you don't take good care of them because they're very thin and very delicate. So if you whack them on things, if you're not careful, if you don't store them properly when they're done in a nice little reed case, they'll warp, they'll get moldy, they'll crack. If any of those things happen, your instrument won't play and you have to put on a new reed. Now reeds aren't crazy expensive. They work out to be about $1 a reed, maybe $2 a reed if you're buying a really fancy brand. So it's not that huge of a deal, but it is something to be aware of. Okay, my reed is already wet because I was playing earlier. So I'm just going to slap it on the instrument here. And I will show you how you have to hold your mouth in order to make a good sound on the clarinet. Now the way that we hold our mouth against the instrument in band is a fancy French word, and we call it an embouchure. And it literally means like the way you hold your mouth. So clarinet embouchure starts with your bottom lip over your bottom teeth and your top teeth on top of the back of the mouthpiece here, like that. Then you're going to close your lips, and then you're going to pull the corners of your mouth back into a weird little smile again. And that's what a clarinet embouchure looks like. I look really goofy when I play the clarinet. Now here's a great big pro of the clarinet, is it doesn't take as much air as the flute does. So I can play forever on this thing without taking a breath. Here. No problem. I could have gone for another 30 seconds, except that I might have passed out. Now here's something else to think about when you play the clarinet, is that unlike the flute, the holes on the clarinet are not covered, except for these little pinky keys here, which means that if you have little hands or tiny little fingers, it might be hard for you to reach all the holes and cover them properly because the holes are quite a bit bigger than they are on recorder. So if you couldn't cover the recorder holes or you had a really hard time with it, maybe the clarinet isn't the best fit for you. But if you've got good size hands and you are good at recorder, this could be a great fit for you. One thing to know is that this is the instrument that I started on back in, do you want to know what year it was when I started band? It was 1998? 1996? 1998? It was 1998. Oh my goodness. And I started on the clarinet. And I actually started on the clarinet. The reason I picked it was because my mom played the clarinet and she still had hers in the closet at home. So it was easy for me. You know, we had a hard time affording band rentals and band instruments. So sometimes it's just easiest to play the instrument that's right there in front of you. So that's the clarinet. It's fun. Oh, did I say that the clarinet also gets to play the melody in band? Clarinet also usually sits in the front row, sometimes second row, and they get to play the main tune or sometimes play a harmony, which is like the main tune but kind of some different notes to make it sound extra good. That's the clarinet. And next video, I think I'll be showing you the trumpet. I think I'll just stick with one instrument next video. So stay tuned for my next video. It'll be about the trumpet. I will catch you later. Peace. I just wanted to add one little commentary before I sign off for the day. I almost forgot, and it's very important, is that there is no such thing as a girl instrument or a boy instrument. So if you are a boy and you want to play the flute, there is nothing wrong with that. Our flute professor at the University of Manitoba was a boy, and he's a flute player in the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and he's amazing. Once upon a time, when orchestra started, actually girls weren't even allowed to play in the orchestra, which meant that every instrument was a boy instrument. So if you're a girl and you want to play the trombone, do it. If you're a boy and you want to play the flute, do it. There is no such thing as a girl instrument or a boy instrument. You play what you want to play, and that's the end of it. Rant over. Love you. Bye.